staging the DJ. Where is the DJ? Okay, go ahead, Dinero. He's repping hard, Lila.
It wouldn't even be right if I didn't. Come on now.
I love it.
So fly.
He did a whole wardrobe change.
Okay, with the Miami colors and stuff. But can you clap it up for Lila and DJ Dinero? So when I found out that I was moderating this discussion, I was super excited because I've known Lila for many years in person and on social media. I saw her gorgeous son grow up from when he was a little kid, and now he's a young man. So shouts to Zen in the building. I don't want to embarrass you. But just seeing your journey, and I honestly, all the accomplishments that we're about to discuss, I didn't know about them. Like, I was like Miami Fashion Swim Week, and I was gonna go to that and stuff like that. But you have done so much. Your Emmy is sitting right over there for that iconic Dr. Dre West Coast Super Bowl halftime show that everyone was talking about. But that wasn't the first Super Bowl you did. So yes, let's talk about it. You're from the 305, born and raised in Queens, New York. Shout out to everybody from Queens. I'm from Queens as well. But how did you literally get your start? Because I know you're a fashion designer, but how did you take it to the next level, being, a young Latina from the 305? How did you get on people's radar?
Well, I went to the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale, and I went there to study merchandising and fashion, and swimwear was a prerequisite of ours. No desire in swimwear, didn't care about bathing suits, nothing like that. I drew a very, very technical sketch on a napkin, and then I made it, and it came out just like the napkin. So we had a school fashion show where you would win $200, right? I put it in the fashion show and I won. And I was like, okay, I took the $200 and I bought some fabric. Then I put another swimsuit, and it just started as a business. I have no capital, no experience. And I met a makeup artist, and I was like, she does Black Men's Magazine. At the time, it was a big deal. And I was like, I want my swimsuits in the magazine. She got called to do an editorial the next day. And she was like, girl, get down here. So we put my 8 swimsuits that I owned in a suitcase, and I took all my jewelry from my jewelry box, and I just showed up. I was there, and the owners of Source, which was also a big one at the time, Vibe and King, they were all there for the editorial. Wow. And they were like, these suits are dope. Who does them? Will you do my editorial? And I went from not even having an LLC to dropping that summer in every big hip hop magazine, and then it just went wild from there.
Because I know if you were in King magazine, let alone Source and the other, what was the other one you said?
It was Black Men's, Source, Double XL, and King together the same time, all of them together.
But King was the one where all the girls looked at swimsuits, body, the guys, so that was amazing. So how did you transition to from designing and doing magazines to getting into the fashion show part of it?
Well, those same editorials got me a phone call. So someone called and they're like, hey, I'm from BET and I'm doing this show called Rip the Runway. Do you want to do it? And I thought it was one of my boys joking, so I hung up the phone, right? I literally hung up the phone. Well, he called me back and he was like, my name is Jesse Collins, which if you guys know, he's one of the biggest producers in the world right now. And he's like, we want to feature you on Rip the Runway. So I was like, holy shit, this is real. So I did that. I did Rip the Runway with them on the BET side as talent for maybe 4 years. And we became friends. And one day they were filming something for Khaled and they needed a stylist. And they're like, hey, can you meet us in the Bahamas tomorrow? And I went and they just replaced their stylist, and I've been with them ever since.
Wow.
And that's how I ended up on the backside of dressing the artist as well.
So when you put together your fashion shows for Miami Swim Week, right? I know not only are the swimsuits important, but so is the music that they walk down. So we're talking about DJ Dinero. How did you and DJ Dinero link up? Or Dinero, how did you and Lila link up?
Oh, I mean, we've been friends way before the fashion thing. So, but when she started to do the major shows, she was hit me up. She's like, "Look, I got an idea. I want to do this, in real time, rather than how they normally do it, which is like somebody puts a mix together or whatever, and they just play it and
put the CD in there.
hey man, it's finished. Play it again. So we do it differently. We look at the patterns, we look at the colors, we look at everything. Most of the time, she has already something in her mind that, like, she wants to, the message that she wants to get across, and a couple of, like, ideas of songs and whatnot. We'll take them, sit down, break them down, say, all right, you know what, this job was this job was that. Let's go this direction. And sometimes, let me tell you, we'll put something together. Like this last show, she threw the crazy monkey wrench at me, like, hey, you know what? A day before, she's like, I have another idea. I was like, oh, all right. Cool.
Then you get scared when you hear her say that.
Not even, I embraced it real quick because I was like, you know what? If that's what she's feeling, I want her feeling to come out of the music that we play, because she's the one that's trying to put, send that message through the art that she's creating. So it's fun to me, I feel it as a challenge. Sometimes we'll get stuck and look at each other like, nah, this ain't it. But so far, every time that we do it, and not just because it's us, every time we do it, I think that we surpass the last one or the previous one. But we get into the point where we've done so many together that it's like, wow, we've used all the greatest hits of all time. Like the only thing that we haven't really done ever is Latin, like salsa, merengue, which I'm gonna twist her arm to do it one day. She doesn't think that that's appropriate for the runway, I guess. But I think it would be fun. I think it'd be fun to put una banda entera atrás, tocando en vivo. Like that'd be crazy. We've had live percussionists. Yeah. We've had motorcycles on the runway. We've done, I think as far as like her, like pushing the envelope, she's one of the designers that just does her own thing. She has her own lane. She takes chances on the models that she picks. Some other designers won't go certain ways. And she's like, you know what? Let's look at this and let's address it and let's bring it to the forefront. And I gotta applaud you for that. That's an admirable thing to, put what you believe in out there, regardless of what the backlash is gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I want to say a bad word. I get tener uno. In Spanish, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have some big to do it. And hats off. Bucket hat off to you, because you, to me, the top designer in the whole urban world right now, sitting here.
Stop playing with us.
You know what I'm saying?
But you know what's so interesting, Lila, listening to Dinero talk about how you guys put together the music for the fashion show, a lot of people may not think this, and so I want to ask you, how does music factor into the looks of your line, or does music, because I know you, like, what artists do you like to listen to while you're designing, or you like silence?
Okay, it's never silent in my office. I have a club sound system, kinda, that sits in my office. Anyone in my family knows when that door is closed, you do not come in the door, you leave me alone, you don't interrupt me. When I hear music, I see color and I see pictures. Does that make sense? Like some songs can come on and they make my hair stand up. So what he's telling you is something will just randomly pop. We could be in a grocery store and I hear a song and I'm like, Dinero, I got it. Now I send him something that's not in a genre we listen to. It's an artist we've never heard before. And now we need like 20 of them that are on the same beat, right? So the girls can walk and they have to be entertaining. So like when everyone's in the audience, what I look for is their feet. if you look in my shows, you see everybody dancing and vibing because traditionally fashion shows are boring. They're boring, right?
True.
It's a t-shirt, it's a pants, if it's a bikini, it's a pink, it's a blue, but it's just a bikini. So we try to curate something that you see, you understand, you feel it was a good time, right? So music is definitely my biggest inspiration, and it's my happy place. So my son, little one over there, doesn't love music as much. And I'm like, I cannot wait until he hears a song that like touches your soul and it just grabs you. Everyone's shaking their head because you have that song, right? That one song that you hear it and it just changes your life. You could be 20 years down the line, you hear the song in the grocery store and boom, you remember the first moment that you hear it. That's what music is to me.
I love that. And it shows in your work of that music is involved because music is such an important part of life, period. I don't care what genre of music is your thing. Like, music is a soundtrack to life. And if you don't feel like that, I could understand maybe the new music, you don't feel like that. I'm gonna go viral for that? No. I'm joking. But like that 90s, 2000 music, in my opinion, was a soundtrack for life. Like I could listen to that Mary J. Blige, My Life album. That album changed my life. I thought I was married and I didn't even have a boyfriend. I was just brokenhearted over what, I don't know. But music is so important. So let's talk about the 305 because the 305 Miami is such a place where everybody wants to come visit, live, move, whatever. Now, Dinero, you were the owner of one of the legendary nightclubs that I did my thing in there once or twice.
It's so blurry those times that I sometimes forget I did that.
So Club Cream, for any of you that were here in the early 2000s, right? Club Cream, 606 to 2001. Yes. So 601 Washington Avenue.
Unheard of to have a club open for 5 years. Like the average lifespan of a club is like 18 months. And we did that for 5 years, representing hip hop on another type of scale when South Beach was just house music. Like you went to South Beach in that time and it was all Euro house. And you had, all the Europeans coming in on the weekends and then it changed, Things started changing, time started changing, music started changing. Cream came into the game on the beach. They never really had that type of style of hip hop on the beach. It was like 700 people going into a club that only fit 300.
And the girls didn't care that their hair was sweated out. We didn't care. We didn't wear lashes. No makeup. We had our sneakers on or our little heels and thought we were cute. Aniche, baby fat.
The baggy jeans, the girls, which is cool. I mean, they did also rock their door knockers and whatnot, and their, the heels, but it changed, the game changed out there, and look at it now, everywhere you go, everywhere you look, there's something that represents hip-hop, something, I don't know, it could be art, music, whatever it is. I've been to places that still have indigenous people living there, you know what I'm saying, like they have their own language and everything. And I got to this place one day. I traveled like 8 hours from the capital of Ecuador, Quito, into like 8,000 feet above ground. You know what I'm saying? Like into the mountains. When I turned the corner, there was a crazy mural of a DJ with the 2 turntables and all that. And I'm like, this is incredible. Like, how do these people know about this? They don't, like there's no hip hop out there, but they had that picture there.
It's universal.
It was wild to me. I said, you know what? Hip hop changed the world.
Definitely. So Lila, you being a designer from the 305, were there any stories you can tell that being from Miami, it was against you or it worked for you? Like, was it a pro or was it a con? Because I remember there was a time you're from Miami, you're not from New York.
It's kind of a fight with the people from New York when I say I'm from Miami. They're like, no, you're from New York, you're from Queens. I'm like, yeah, but like, I've been in Miami like half of my life. So it's fair to say that I'm raised somewhat and born in Queens, but like
What
I
part
am.
of Queens?
Well, my dad lives in Jamaica, and I lived in Bayside.
Okay, I'm from Astoria.
Okay, my dad's car shop was in Astoria. But I've been in Florida for a really long time. Honestly, I'm able to work in both environments, and I haven't had a situation where I didn't fit on either side. If I'm like, I'm from Queens and I'm from Miami, I've just been lucky to be embraced and kind of to take the different cultural elements, different types of people, the environments, and just influence what I'm doing from both sides, where we have this tropical flair, but it still has that like gritty New York street kind of vibe, and you just mush them together, and that's kind of where my brand lives.
And so sitting right over there, I mentioned it before, is your Emmy from the Super Bowl with Dr. Dre. What was your first Super Bowl experience, and how did you even get involved with being the costume designer for the Super Bowl? Like, what?
So this story is actually really funny. I was in my office, and my husband and my son's never in my office, they were both there that day. And the year before, we were trying to go to the Super Bowl, and I couldn't get tickets. So I called Jesse, who I mentioned earlier, and I was like, yo, can you help me get some tickets? Like, they're really expensive. And we didn't get to, oh no, my husband got them the day of, we got to go. The next year, Jesse's like, yo, you wanna do the Super Bowl? So in my mind, we're gonna go. He got the tickets, right? And he's like, all right, well, I need you from October to January, all right? Can you make it? All right, bet, bye. And it hangs up the phone. And I literally sat there, they can tell you they're laughing because I sat there like, wait, did I just get the Super Bowl? Because I didn't petition for it, I didn't ask for it. And then it took me a minute, right? So I came outside, they were there, and I put on the Super Bowl, and then I watched it, and then it was like, holy shit, I just got the Super Bowl. And that's how I got it. Like,
and who was the performer of that Super Bowl?
I didn't know who it was, and I was in my mind guessing who I wanted it to be. It was The Weeknd. I didn't guess him. He wasn't on there, but I was happy to do his show because he's like such a creative genius. He has a vision that is so strong. His team is really one of the best teams that I've ever worked with because they're so clear in what they want. And they trusted, like they gave me, this is what I want to see through renderings, and then they let me just kind of run with the ball and just make it happen.
So the look for The Weeknd was a red blazer, right?
Red blazer, a black blazer, and then there was one that they called, probably shouldn't say it, but there was one that was like a choir look, but they had like red blazing eyes. So this was also during COVID, and this is at the peak of COVID when people had to wear their mask, and the NFL was like crazy about keeping our distance. So we had to find ways of engineering a mask into the costumes for all of the performers where they didn't look like they're on the stage with the mask. So it was an interesting time. He had 400 black men that were his body type that he wanted to be on that field, and that was our criteria in Tampa during COVID, trying to find all these volunteers to be a part. And it was kind of epic. Like everybody came forward. We definitely hid masks behind the like bandage look that he had on, and we did our best with the conditions. It was a little stressful, but it looked really dope in the end.
And it really went viral. How did you feel like when it went viral and people were with the red blazers and stuff like that, the memes?
So, it gave me another gift. In the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they have that iconic mirror room, the room where they go downstairs and it's like a maze. They took the whole entire room and the original looks from the show, and there's a massive display in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with my name on it. But what makes it iconic is to the left is Jimi Hendrix, which is one of my icons. Immediately to the right is Prince, and then in front is Beyonce. Those are my icons that I like, I listen to, I'm on, and they're right in my room with my stuff.
Word.
Thank you. Yeah, that was my like special gift. And then we went to the opening of it, and it's really amazing. Like the whole glass room, you can walk through this maze and it's set up. So they gave me the plaque, and I have one in my garage on like a frame. Cause like, you hope that your work is legendary and artists will see it, but like
to that level? Wow.
so it was really epic. I'm not an emotional person. I cried. Like I was like, oh my God, and it was really good. Funny, we did that show so many times. I was telling you this on the phone. We did the rehearsals so many times of their wardrobe change, and it failed every single time. It failed literally every single time, and the one time that it worked, we were live.
It was at the Super Bowl.
It was the only time that it worked.
God did.
400 people had to run. No, it was 100 people had to run from the top of the bleachers, changing their clothes in a mask with layers, running onto the field while they just fall in line. Hold this. There's a camera that sweeps down like this, and as the Weeknd's walking, all of his army is behind him. They had less than 30 seconds to run from the top all the way down, change a mask, change a jacket, put on gloves, put on a headpiece, put on, like, the headpiece that's back there is engineered by one of the Universal Studios prop masters. They put a resin piece inside with the bandage so that you could pull the bandage on your face within 5 seconds. Like, it literally took a team of engineers to create that so that people could run from the top right onto the field while we're live, and nobody could tell that, you know, there was a change and it was seamless. It worked only that day.
That is insane. So if you haven't had the opportunity after the panel, make sure you go back there because the blazer's there, the mask is there, so you can see what she's speaking about. So let's talk about that legendary case right there about the Super Bowl with Dr. Dre. How did that come about, the West Coast? And you did Kendrick Lamar's segment?
I did everybody.
Stop playing. And wait, you did the 50 Cent when he was hanging upside down?
Wait, so I want to defend him, okay? 50 is fine. His body is ridiculous. He looked fantastic, but that camera just made him look
like 100 pounds.
Yo, his body is insane. He worked so hard to get his body there. No one would have expected that he looked like he was out of shape, because he's absolutely not. Like, he is fly.
I believe you. He's fine.
And I was like, so everybody was joking on him, but he said he lost like 30 pounds to get ripped for that. Wow. Yeah, he was working so hard for it. And he, you know, it was a little hard for him to bend down the first couple times, but yeah, so.
And what do you remember most about that Emmy award winning? Have you guys seen her Emmy over there? It's just so glossy and pretty, right? What do you remember most about that specific Super Bowl?
So there's Lucci right there. She just walked in. She's on my team. We were doing another show somewhere, and I learned that night who the artists were, because we're not allowed to know, right? So somebody told me the night before, and I had to hold it in because Kendrick is my icon artist. So what I call an icon artist is someone's music who inspires me and who I like, I don't know, they just bring something out of me. So Kanye's one, I mean Kendrick's one, Kanye is one, and you know, Stevie Wonder. Those are my like 3 icons. So I knew it was Kendrick, but I couldn't say anything. So I had to like hold it, and my team was like, who is it, who is it? And I really couldn't say anything. So we were in a van on our way, and they announced it on the radio. I literally fell off the chair on the ground because I could finally be like, we got Kendrick, we got Kendrick. And that was my response, because I mean, the other artists they're amazing, right? But like for me, it was like, this is the music I listen to. And now I get to like be part of one of their most incredible, most iconic moments in their career. And they're trusting me and the people that I work with to be there, to prepare for them, to like, you know, just to champion them in this grand moment. So
there was a lot of elements to that Super Bowl halftime because a lot of people were part of it. Which of the segments was the most difficult?
Man, hands down, I'm not gonna be shady. There was one artist, and man, that team, it wasn't the wardrobe, it was the team. They were just like,
difficult?
Man, yeah, they were like the hardest artists I've ever worked with. So doing this, everybody's a superstar. So you have to cater to 6 superstar teams. And everyone is, I'm the most important, and we have to act and honor them that way. Yeah. So dealing with so many icons, it's challenging because you want to give everybody their best, But everybody wants their own thing and they need to kind of wrangle it together. So I'm the wrangler. I'm the one that goes to you and I need to like know what you're doing so that I can make sure the NFL approves it. Because the NFL approves every single element of what they wear, from their socks, their pants.
Did they approve Snoop's blunt? That was blunt. I remember, right?
I would say that
Snoop.
Snoop is Snoop, and he's gonna do what he wants. And like, he's a G for real. Like when he first met me, he just pulled up on me and was like, it was funny. It was. Yeah, I can't even say what he said to me in my first conversation, like meeting him. But yeah, like what you see is what he's like. He's a straight like Cali guy, hood homie. Like that's how he behaves. And he wasn't supposed to be seen with the blunt, but he was smoking out the whole time.
He was.
Yeah. But that piece that's on the wall, that jean jacket.
Yes.
If you guys get a chance, go look at it. It was custom made for me, and it has every single artist on there early in their career, and they all signed it. What makes that piece special is nothing exists like that, because most of them, Eminem he doesn't like doing autographs. So most of them will not sign anything, and I was able to get all of them, including Anderson .Paak, who played the drums. His picture's not there. We were able to get all of them to sign it, and then we took it to the end of the game on the 50-yard line, and kind of rubbed it in the dirt a little bit, like, you know, this is my charity, like one of my keepsake pieces. So when you get a chance, look at it.
That's your Super Bowl ring, right? Along with the Emmy. Clap it up for Lila. It's so dope. So doing a Super Bowl halftime show is one thing, but what about doing a concert? You were part of Kanye's Donda. Please, what was that like? And be honest. We all love Kanye, but we all know Kanye too. So.
I'm looking at her and she's already laughing because she was on that tour. Lucci, if you had to say 3 words for working with Kanye, what would they be?
Crazy, run around, and unique, honestly. It was a very unique experience, I would say.
Kanye moves by the way he feels, okay? So.
And that's not steady though. The way he feels is not steady.
He is a true artist, and what's in his head, you have to get and understand and do it. So, like our first show, we were doing Donda Atlanta. They called me. I was again with them. We were in the pet shop. Okay, when we were bored at the time, we would go pet dogs. Okay, because we can't have a dog, so we would go pet dogs. For real, we would just go play with them and be like, "Bye, dog." So we were at a pet shop, and Zen was playing with the dog that we were not gonna buy, and I saw an email and it said Lila Nikole ex Kanye, and I was like. So I opened it up, and it was literally an invitation to do his tour. I was on my knees in the store, like, oh my God, oh my God. And they didn't understand, but I was like, guys, you don't understand. And then I had 3 days. So now we have 3 days. Get your shit together, get a team. That's another thing, it's in Atlanta. So I think it was five of us. We fly to Atlanta, and then they're like, oh, you're dressing 5,000 people. So now we have 5,000 people that we're not gonna see. We don't know their size. We don't know if they're male or female. We just know that the show is in 3 days and we have to get wardrobe for 5,000 people. So the look was like a military militia. We literally called every single surplus army store in the United States and took all of their inventory. I'm like, what do you have in inventory? And they're like thinking it's a joke. I'm like, seriously, what do you have in inventory? We have 2,000. I'm like, give me every single thing. What size? Just give it to me. Well, we need it in Atlanta 2 days. Well, we can't get it in Atlanta. All right, well, we started hiring trucking companies. This truck's coming through the night from Ohio. This truck's coming from New York. We just had trucking companies pulling up.
Wow.
Then when we had the vendors, we're like, wait, do you know anybody that sells gloves? So now she's my homie, and she owns the glove company. Now I took her whole entire inventory. Now the same question to you. Do you know anyone that has flight suits or jackets? We had a company called Scorpion that makes that bulletproof vest. They didn't even have the inventory. They brought in everybody, their whole entire team, and worked through the night to make those real bulletproof vests. They're real plates inside of there. That's what it's like. So we woke up that morning and we were having breakfast. And oh, I forgot the most important part. Staff. We had 5 people. So everyone that we had 5 of us for 5,000. Do you know somebody in Atlanta? Can they work? Call them. Do you know somebody? That's how it works. So everyone got in their phone, called everyone they knew, then everyone they knew called, and then we just had a team of like 30 people that we'd never met before. We didn't know what their specialties were, what their names were, or what they did. We're like, what do you do? Can you cut? Can you go cut? Oh, and then he asked for 5,000 custom masks the day before the show.
Wow.
Who are you calling for that?
We made them.
Crayons?
We made them. Spanx, the company that makes the women's Spanx, is in Atlanta. So now I gotta call them and be like, listen, I need all your black tights. We just gonna pick them all up. She's like, what for? I'm like, we're putting them on their head. She's like, excuse me? So I'm on a Zoom call with her. She's trying the tights on her head. It's an older woman, and she's literally in her office pulling the tights on her head. She's like this? I was like, oh my God. So we took everything they had, and then we had an assembly line. People that do not know how to sew, they were cutting, sewing, and then we did them all, and he didn't like the color and threw them all away. We did them in a sheer so people can breathe.
Here's people to breathe.
I'm not kidding. We did the bottom portion because people have to breathe. They have to breathe, right? They're wearing a vest, a jacket, gloves, boots, pants. Some had scullies. They have to see, right? And it was dark in there. He was like, I don't care. They took the top parts of the Spanx, sewed those up, and put them on the people. And the people were like, I can't see. They're like, it's okay, just follow them. Remember? Just hold on.
It's only 100 feet.
I'm not kidding. People were like, people's eyelashes were stuck on their head. Do you remember? They had glasses underneath. It was stuck to their face, and they were mad. And the way we got them to not be mad, I was like, listen, you love Kanye? Yeah, I'm like, well, Kanye wants this. That's what we were all telling them. That's what we were telling them. He wants this. And they were like,
all right.
okay. Someone threw up. Remember, they threw up in their vest because it was so hot. They just threw up in their vest and it was.
But didn't you have something to do also with the Sunday service? You dressed the Sunday service singers or choir or whatever.
So we got Donda one time and they kept us. And then we did all the Dondas. Then they would fly us in every Friday to California to do Sunday service. We'd fly in Friday, get wardrobe, not know what's going on, and then leave Sunday. And even in that madness, we had to create the wardrobe, we had to make it, we had to get it, we had to show it, and we were doing something for Apple TV Live, and it was 12 o'clock when we were supposed to go live, and he did not like the color of the outfit he picked, made us take it all off and throw it in the garbage. We couldn't even have it in the room anymore. He made us throw it in the garbage and then send everyone out to just buy anything black they could find. So black t-shirts, black sweatpants, and no socks. And he held up Apple Live because he didn't like the color. And I'm not kidding. And we were just stuffing it in the garbage bags because we had to throw it out.
Most importantly, with these stories, does the check look nice at least? Was it worth it?
The one thing I said, and she will tell you this, in our morning meetings was, guys, I want you to remember that no matter how hard you worked on this, no matter how good it is, it doesn't matter, because if he throws it out, you're still getting a check. So don't get in your feelings, throw the shit out, and we're gonna do it again. And throw it out, and we're gonna do it again. And that was the way to have sanity.
Get through it.
For real.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was like this. We got fired. I got fired because
from Kanye. You got fired.
Kanye fired me for something I didn't do. So the clothing arrived and it was spray painted and it was wet. It was wet and it was blue.
The paint was still wet.
It was blue. So the choir was like, I'm not putting it on. I'm like, okay. So they're like, why won't they put it on? I'm like, because they're blue. They're like, let me show them. Remember, everybody's blue. Make them wear it. So now we're putting it in the sun, trying to cook it, right? I forgot, there's children, very famous children are in the choir that are supposed to wear the blue clothes, but it's not safe, right? It's wet. So we put fans, we cooked it, and then he was like, why aren't they dressed? I'm like, well, they don't want to get dressed. And then the choir person's like, I'm not wearing that. And I'm just standing there, like, I'm not saying anything, right? Because now and he's like, oh yeah? Fire her. So then he walks away. So now I got fired, right? I'm like, I didn't even do it. So then they call me. I'm like, we're fired, guys. We lost our job. I'm stressed out because I didn't do anything. Then they call me like 2 days later and they're like, so we'll see you on Friday. What? They're like, just don't let him see you. I'm like, we dress him. How? Just don't let him see you.
Use a mask.
We'll see you on Friday. We also were in a flight another time when he fired everybody, and we're like, we're in the air.
Should we all jump?
I'm like, what do we do? He's like, all right, well, just show up, and just show up. So we just show up, and now there's a whole new team that doesn't know the production, and we have to teach them everything for the live taping at the end of that day. So I've been fired by him multiple times, but.
You know, fashion is such a big part of music and hip hop especially. So you being a DJ, Dinero, and you doing clubs and the fashion shows and all the things that you do traveling, how important is what you wear? Do you think you're judged by, as a DJ, how the DJs dress, or do people look at what the
I'll tell you
DJs
honestly,
wearing?
man, I think that you only have one chance to make that first impression. And I mean, a lot of the times, you gotta think like this. You yourself are a brand, you know, and you gotta represent yourself as such. And if you go to your gigs and, you know, flip-flops and things like that, like I see some DJs coming in like with a dirty t-shirt or whatever, I'll be like, all right, you know, that's the way they do it. But me personally, every time I go out, I think I need to be presentable. And on top of that, it's something that was instilled in me by this culture. You know, you always, when you went out, you wanted to look fly.
Fresh.
You know, yeah, you want to take it back to the fresh, yes, right. You know, and I had a very influential person in my life who was my uncle, that he had every single color Kango possible, and he didn't even listen to hip hop. So that's why I say the fashion had a lot of influence even before the phrase hip hop came out. You know, in that time, it wasn't even rap yet. Uncle was coming out with his Kango, his matching guayabera, his cane, his glass cane, because he wasn't a pimp, you know, but he used to pimp. You know, his style was crazy.
Wait, he wore like a Cuban guayabera with a Kango?
The colors, like he had the light blue guayabera with the light blue Kango, impeccable. Like his pleats were crazy. And that later on became another style in the lead times. When you wore the leads, people started putting the permanent crease in the pants. And think about it. When you was back in that time, people didn't really have all that much money. So you took care of your stuff. You came out with your BBD on top of your polo, whatever. No, back in the day that was the Tigre, my bad. The Tigre shirts. And your Pumas. And another thing that I saw come about was the painting of the sneakers, and now you can buy a pair of sneakers. Somebody could like sell you $1,000 pair of sneakers. We used to do that because we didn't have no choice. Our sneakers were done. You had to go to the shoe repair, buy a dye, and make your sneakers look fresh again. Get the new fat laces, put them in, because you couldn't go outside looking corny. You had to look dope. You know, I don't know, I mean, people still doing it today, you know, but it's changed. The whole fashion thing has changed, and that's why I say hip-hop is an ever-evolving culture. It has not stopped, you know, changing and pushing the envelope and getting to even more places, you know. And like I said, the fashion is I think what's the first thing they see? Your presentation. So if you're looking fly, a lot of times people are gonna say, I ain't messing with that person. So you gotta always look fly.
I know that's right. Lila, anyone you have not worked with that's on your bucket list, or was Kendrick it? I work with Kendrick, I'm done. Have you worked with Beyonce?
I haven't worked with Beyonce.
I love Blue Ivy.
bucket list, I mean, mine is a weird one. I just want to work with Stevie.
Stevie Wonder?
Yeah, I just want to.
Girl.
I just want to.
I love that.
And I'm gonna get Rihanna. Like, she did that Super Bowl, but she has her own production team, so there's no need for us, right? She has a team.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get Rihanna. I like her style. Like, she's tough and she's sexy and she's like,
She don't care.
yeah, she's like, I'm gonna do what I want and this is me. And I love that. So, is there anybody else? No. You know what? I would love to dress J-Lo because I'm Puerto Rican and I feel like I need some Puerto Ricans on my roster. So I would like to work with her too.
She needs a little refresh right now. She's going through some things. So I think some dope ass clothes and swimsuits from you would be fire.
Leave her alone. Everybody just needs to leave them alone. Find a new topic. But I mean, her style's fresh. She does like super glam and she does like street really good.
Yes,
So
she mixes it.
yeah, if I worked with Beyonce, I'd like to do a costume element for her more than like a regular apparel. I'd love to do something when she's like really out of her element and she's just pushing all those boundaries. That's what I would like to do with her.
Would you love to do someone for the Met Gala?
Oh, yes. If you guys come to my studio, he could tell you. He's mixing and I'm just making stuff in the background, right? So he comes and I throw him my curveballs and like he tries to act like he's not annoyed with me, but he is. He's annoyed, right? So while he's DJing, I'm just in the back making stuff, right? And I'm dancing and I'm not feeling that because it doesn't help me design. But if you come into my lab, it's literally just machines and all kinds of stuff. Like it could be furniture, it could be 3D, it could be graphics, it could be wallpaper. I just like to create. So Met Gala is literally right up my alley.
I know that's right. So we're gonna wrap it up, but I have a last question. What's your favorite thing about representing worldwide the 305 Miami?
That's a good question. I mean, my favorite thing is that I love to design. I design from my heart with the intentions of people to feel good, right? I love when someone comes to me and they're like, I feel beautiful. Like that's the joy in what I do. So my favorite thing, 305, whatever, is just that my designs are accepted and that someone gets joy out of what they're wearing because it makes them feel good.
And it came from your mind.
It came from me with love and it was received with love, and that person is like, yo, I feel fresh, I feel good, I look good. And a lot of times these big artists are super insecure and you would never
that
get
confidence boost.
Super insecure, and then when it's like me and them, like just trust me. Like I just had an artist who's super legendary and they're very insecure, and I was like, listen, I know you don't see what I see, but just trust me, I got you. And they just signed me. Like they're like, I got this, can we do this, can we do that? Because it was like tapping into their vulnerabilities and being trusted, and it worked out and they felt good.
What about you, Dinero? Same question.
Well, honestly, I've been here so long that I can't even say I'm from New York, but everything that I learned living in the 212 lives right here. So wherever I go, I represent New York, and I think that is important because that's my roots, where hip hop was born. You get me? I grew up in the shadow of hip hop, and I bring hip hop with me to every corner of the universe. Wherever I go, hip hop is with me. I represent the style. I put the music up. I teach people about having fun to the old school classics. I set the tone with the energy that I emit, and when you see that energy come back to you with people dancing on the dance floor, there's no greater, reward. You couldn't feel any better than to see people just losing their mind for 1 second, taking them away from their little 9-to-5 problems or whatever it is, and say, you know what, I made these people happy today, and that was my purpose on this earth, is to make people happy.
I love it. Dinero, where can they follow your movements?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram at DJ Dinero. You can also go to my website, check me out at djdinero.com. I got a new project that I'm working on right now. I got a full band that I'm about to release, and an EP of music. I'm taking it back to my roots: salsa, merengue, bachata, cumbia. But you know, I gotta add that 212 little hip hop flavor to it. So you never know what's gonna come out, and I hope everybody, you know, checks me out. I got some real cool stuff coming, and I just want to thank you for having me in with you.
And Lila, where can they follow your movement? And what do you have coming up as well?
I have fun stuff. I leave tomorrow and I just start bouncing around the world for a little bit. But to follow me, lilanikole.com or Lila Nikole. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you caring about what I have to say.
So clap it up for DJ Dinero and Miss Lila Nikole. And make sure you walk around the Art of Day podcast to Allison Roku to see all the exhibits of Lila's work, which is absolutely insanity.
Well, thank you, Allison and Ket, for having us.
So I